Well, hello there. Okay, so today's video is going to be some interesting. I wrote a blog post on LinkedIn here. And you can check it out. Just follow me if you don't. But basically, what I was talking about was how when I started my company, Ivory and Purple Blue, a while back, where we had to actually hire a lot of people to do a lot of stuff for us. Meaning that you had to get a developer, we had to get a marketing effort, people culture, legal, and so forth, engineers as a support team. But today you can run your own company and have 10 times your capabilities without a team. And AI and a bunch of tools I'm going to show you today does this. Imagine that, right? That we used to be relying on people. Now we're relying on a combination of AI and AI agents. And so what I dawned on me is I've created a bunch of, I just segmented in terms of stages of a company or a startup. You got your idea, your strategy, you got your product development, you got your marketing, you got your sales support, and you got sort of your analytics. And I'm going to go through some of these apps that I found, and maybe you can find some benefit in your startup or marketing venture where you can actually utilize the power of AI to 10 times your efforts. So one of the things I also noticed is that not only you have these individual kind of startups or scale-ups, some of them, right, producing AI products that were in a particular niche. There's also your modern day large language models like your Claude or OpenAI that have their own sort of, MCPs, will allow you to tap into context around your business if you wanted to. So, you can plug in your HubSpot or any CRM, or go into Google Analytics, and you can interact with your data with the power of large language models. This is on top of enterprises that are launching, like HubSpot as a whole. If you go to HubSpot here, let me just open this browser up here. Okay, HubSpot has a whole bunch of AI products. It's called Breeze. And one particular one I liked is the prospecting agent, which is pretty cool because it learns about the company that you're targeting and actually provides a coaching away or insight to that account. So when you engage with the full research of that person. There's other tools within HubSpot. Of course, you got to have a HubSpot license, but this is all about. Just close this off. This is all about customer service agent. You've got content, so you can create. They also have content remix, where you can have one piece of content remixed in different types of formats for different platforms and channels. So, and they also have Copilot, which is within the database itself, or CRM. You can actually run queries. So what I'm saying is that now you have the power of AI plugged into anywhere. Here's an example of a video talking about enterprise that I wanted to share with you, and I'm going to go through this clip. And is okay.
So let's pretend I'm a marketer for the coffee brand Frescopa. And I'm going to use Project GetSavvy to create engaging social media content for our new cold brew line.
The thing I want to sort of focus on is the agents. So this is one example of the new project that Adobe will be releasing, where it's probably released it now already, but it taps into different agents. So I imagine you had a company on a cold brew, right? So
as soon as I click on Brainstorm, Project GetSavvy understands my request and connects me to the marketing strategist agent on demand. By understanding how we work at Frescopa, the marketing strategist agent is able to ask clarifying questions to help me refine my approach. No more scheduling countless meetings to get the ball rolling.
So now, instead of me hiring a marketing strategist, I just go into Adobe, and it would already understand the first thing I need to do is get a strategist. Then it's going to go in, and if you go back to here a little bit, where is it? It's on the strategy, and it actually builds the profile. So this is the conversion rate. It's done its research. Now it's going to tap into a data analyst.
The numbers behind the scenes to give me real-time insights about which segments I should target. In this case, it's recommending Gen Z social seekers.
Amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Just No more digging through data, just
This is done.
contextual insights at the tip of my fingers. So I'll click on Gen Z social seekers. And now that we've selected our target audience, notice how Project GetSavvy connects us to the channel optimization analyst.
Now, the channel optimization analyst will start looking at, for that segment, it's recommended, which is the marketing analyst or marketing strategist has recommended. It's going to say, okay, now the channel analyst, you come up with the ideal channel to use. So you can imagine how this continues, right down to, and I'm going to go forward a little bit. It goes into a little bit more beat, but what's amazing, it starts designing campaigns.
So Ken, what's your coffee vibe, dude?
Look, it's once we discovered what kind of channel is going to be sort of the key channel for the Gen Z, it starts.
And we'll start getting creative with the content strategy.
There you go. The content strategist comes in.
Locked in. We get 4 theme recommendations.
Now this is the themes for your campaign
and the target audience. So Ken, what's your coffee vibe?
Okay.
We've got.
It creates the ads, and now because remember, it starts with the marketing strategist. It says, we've done some research, your Gen Z. The Gen Z then it goes into your data analyst. It looks at the segment in more detail and see what's the likes and dislikes, like understanding the insights of that segment. And then the content strategist speaks to the data analyst saying, hey, can you create some, also we talked about the channel optimization as well. So the channel team comes into it, right? The channel saying, okay, now I discover for Gen Z, it's LinkedIn or it's Instagram, and now it speaks to the content. And so it's essentially a team. It's your team talking to each other, right? So anyway, that's you can go in this video and watch it for yourself. And that's only just a start off, right? So I'm just as a power. So let's go into some of these other ones. So you have Lavender.ai. And there's another video that, because it's new, by the time you see this, and this is the website, right? It's literally what we just talked about, but you don't have to be on Adobe. These are the various use cases you can create all sorts of. It's basically a brand agency to build your brand presence. And I'll go into this YouTuber, Dan, the creator, credit to him, because he's got access, and that's why. And so he gives an example of here.
A website and then a full branding package for me.
So imagine if you were to have a website. Now you want to create a whole brand around it, including the website, the brand, and everything. So this Dan talks about through this.
And I'm going to see how good of a job.
Okay, let's expand this a little bit.
What I want to use is design a website homepage for a futuristic, small, portable Bluetooth speaker, following the style of the official Apple website to highlight the product's features. Brand name is Sonacor. And then I'm going to get it to design me like a full branding package I can use afterwards.
It's designing so it's going to design not only just the homepage, it's going to design the product, okay? So it then continues to take that product in context and design the whole, the website itself. And if you go here further down, this is the whole website. And I'll show you another video, another product that actually can take this design, add it into Reloom, and Reloom into Figma AI, and then create the actual the HTML, export into to Webflow or Webflow, any content management system. So, and you can see once it's finished designing the website, it would then create the brand guidelines for the for the brand guidelines. You can see here, this is the full brand guidelines for the site. So in a few minutes, you've gone from a website design to a whole brand guidelines that you can actually use it for engaging other agencies if you wanted to. So that's branding AI, right? And it's just amazing where we come from. Let's go into a few others. So we know ChatGPT, Claude, they're your standard these days, so your basics. Like Book, I mean, it's amazing. You load in all your content of your service or offering, and you can run any research towards it. You can create any blogs that are brand compliant and consistent, because it's just your own depot of knowledge. Reliance AI, this is interesting as well. This is a bunch of AI agents that you can build. So you plug in, there's a whole bunch of AI agents you can see here that you can actually plug into your own businesses. In fact, you can actually install and integrate, if you're in something like HubSpot, you can install it so you can interact with your own data. Similar to what I talked about, which are the MCPs in that context. But again, it's quite easy to set up. This is similar to what we talked about. The head of research will go into the competitive agent, so you can build your agents for your whole system. So if you wanted to say, I don't want to go into these separate companies, these individual companies, I want a one-stop shop, you can use Reliance AI to actually enable that. So let's continue on because it's going to be a long video if I don't. Again, another classic is Canva. Now Canva, you can AI docs. So like even if I go into my own, I just said here, look at my title, said I actually created this from Canva. So if I go to Canva and I just do another one, because I had an old original one, wasn't as good. So Canva has a bunch of AI products, it's scattered everywhere. But I just said here, right? Create a banner for me for my LinkedIn post. This is actually writing that. So let me get out of here 1 second. I want an image, and that's the image, and so I want for my LinkedIn post. So I divided it 16 by 9 because that's the format is ideal for LinkedIn. Now it's going to create a couple, so you can see infographic style. And that's pretty good actually. You can scale it up, spelling, all that sort of stuff, and it's using there and triple AI tools. But you can actually you can edit that, of course, if you go into Canva again and just remove that if you wanted to. But not bad for something that sort of infographic style, again, some typing issues and stuff like that, but that's common amongst all AI products at this stage, most of them at this stage anyway. But my point here is, again, you have a bunch of AI products for strategy and getting your brand on a page if you wanted to. Now, product development. So this is another Reloom. So if I go into Reloom, let me see if I've got let's close that. We've gone through that. We're back to, where is it, Reloom? That's another one I'm going to cover off. Let me go back here. Yeah, let's just use his prompt. So with Reloom, you can actually design your page, plug it, send that design, optimized for different formats, send that to Figma AI. Figma AI turn it into Webflow or WordPress, whatever, and in the way you go. So we can generate, let's just see what happens here. Let me get out of here, required. Okay. So I've created a couple of projects before because I've run out of, but you can see here, it does the sitemap, and if you go here, it does the wireframes, and if you want, so this is a design, right? So it does the wireframes. You can specify just one prompt, specify it does the wireframes. So the sitemap does the wireframes and goes one step further and creates the brand. You can see it right here. And then when you're done, so this is a beautiful design, by the way. You can export that into Figma. So here, you can export that into Figma or directly into Webflow, and away you go. Again, you don't need to be a developer to have amazing websites. Let's continue. This is similar. So these bunch of products here is really about, and I've covered in a few videos, building your own website. So you can, one prompt, you can build an application. You want a CRM, build a CRM for you. If you want a UTM tracking tool, build it yourself. So you can build custom applications now. Similar to Retool. Retool is for internal, so internal reporting, dashboards, and so forth. So another tool that similar to these Lovable and Base 44, but this is more designed for more internal, leveraging internal platforms and so forth. Now you've got the marketing side, Jasper and Copy.ai. Jasper's amazing as well, and what I like about it is this particular feature. If you go into the features, is especially a large company, you want to be brand compliant. So your brand voice, so when you're writing a blog or a report or any content on site, you want to always be on brand, which is, I think that's a way to keep you, especially for large organizations, you want to be on brand every time. And that's been around for a long time as well. And again, yes, of course, there's licenses and stuff, but all of these stuff are free as well. for short term. Depending on your business, you might just lean into one because that's what you're going to use the most, like ChatGPT, for example. You can create a whole series of ads if you want to for different formats. Again, you can start free for initially and test it. But the features of some of these use cases and features, particularly for e-commerce, you can create a bunch of ads straight off, optimized for the different platforms. And this gives you a few examples. You can see here, the one image product image is into different contexts, similar here as well. And you can have different formats, like you could say, I want it in different contexts. So especially in like a B2C kind of arrangement, this is going to be a very important piece where you want continue to upload or post different versions of your product to engage. Okay, let's continue. Again, a lot of these ones have the insight, competitor insight. So it draws in competitor data to ensure that whatever it's designing is different or to the competitor, or it takes the insight from the competitor to make it more challenging copy. Better hooks. Okay, so let's continue down to this. Now we're in at 16. So now we're into HeyGen and stuff. So if you want to automate it, so some of your video, so if video is important and you want to have a customer service person, you can automate that. And I'll show you another one. It's called 11x. So in this case here, there's a founder. Okay, Chinese, Spanish. Okay, you get it. And there's a lot of use cases that you can, if you go into the use cases, you can discover use cases that are most important to you. But again, you tap into these AI products that help you tenfold your. Imagine if you engage an agency. There's SEO optimization. This is not actually a AI product per se, but I liked it. Reason why is that you can actually outsource your whole social media, which is again going to be very important, for $99 a month. So you can get, and there's a different pricing. So you can say 10. Let me see. You get 10 posts for $99. So it's set and forget. Especially if you're B2C, this is going to be important. These other ones are amazing. What I talked about is the customer service. Now you can actually, instead of hiring an SDR, and B2B is going to be important, you can actually hire Alice here as your SDR. And if you want Julian here, it can do the telephone call. So you can actually test it. And again, I don't have it. That's just a telephone call. Okay, so it's connecting. Allow this time. Let's see what's going to happen. I'll put in my details. It's going to call. It's connecting. And now look, this is a American.
Hi, thank you for calling. This is Julian from 11x. Who am I speaking with?
It's Frankie.
Great. I'm calling about our AI solutions that help scale sales outreach. Is now a good time, Frankie?
Yes, it is. Let's go for it.
So what's your current approach to sales outreach and follow-ups, Frankie?
We have a team, but it's costing a lot of money. So we're looking to automate that as much as possible.
That makes sense. Automating can definitely help reduce costs. How many reps do you currently have doing phone outreach, Frankie?
About 10.
10 reps? That's a decent sized team. How many prospects do you contact monthly, Frankie?
About 30. About 30.
30?
Yes.
So you're contacting around 30 prospects monthly, Frankie? I think there might be a bit of a mismatch, as we typically work with businesses that have a larger call volume.
Oh,
Usually
sorry,
over 100.
I meant 3,000. It's a large operation.
3,000 prospects monthly. That's a significant volume. Based on what you've shared, our AI phone representative could help by handling and qualifying leads, freeing up your team to focus on high-value tasks.
Okay.
Companies like yours have increased conversation.
So you get the gist, right? Okay. So let's continue on. So again, you can automate this, and there's also another version of that. Substrata is very interesting. What I like about that, and let me look at some of these ones here. Substrata, that's creative. Went there. HeyGen, we talked about. We talk about that. Scout, we don't need to talk about that. We just Substrata is here. So what I like about this is that it understands when you're having conversations on the telephone or video, you're pitching your business. it will start giving you clues around, hey, this person's getting engaged. Do not emphasize that particular point because they're not engaged, they're getting disengaged. So basically it allows you to be much more tailored. So these amazing physical and non-physical cues in order for you to optimize your conversation to that audience, to that in that moment. So basically, you can see in this example here, someone has changed the subject. Mark has a long onset of pause after a question. It picks up on these cues and starts coaching you around how much you should change your strategy or tack during conversations. I think this is really powerful, especially for those high value deals. The average deal size required, and you want something like a competitive edge around getting that insights during the call. Similar to this which is a cheaper version, is Lavender.ai, which I've used a lot. Which is again, there's another video here which explains a little bit about it, and I'm not going to play all of it, but what it does is you can see here, you type in the email address of the person, it looks at that person, and it draws in latest news in terms of icebreaker. And actually, if I continue on, if you write your copy, it gives you a score. Okay, it gives you a score of your content. So how engaging that to this person. It gives you some tips about this person. You can actually filter if there's any posts on LinkedIn, or you might be on your CRM. It gives you some latest news about that company. So it really allows you, and you can actually ask it to take all this information and write an outbound email. It's very cheap, cost-effective tool as well. And I remember using this because it was very cheap to. Let's look at the pricing at this time anyway on the recording. Anyway, it's a free trial, but $27 a month. That's nothing to get all this coaching. So you not only get this highly marketed person level intel, meaning that what are the key points to talk about in this conversation or this email, but also context around that company. So latest market research. Again, this costs you a lot of money in just time and research. Again, you can be scaling yourself and engaging in prospects in a very meaningful manner because you're understanding the current news in their world. Hyper personalized and hyper relevant to that person. Legal support. We talked about support and mentioned about HubSpot, but there's also Intercom has one, and there's various others that do that. There's legal. So if you want to outsource your legal, at least initially, right? You can do. There's a whole sort of products there that if you want to ask or review to get. So you don't want to. Every time you engage your lawyer, it costs a lot of money for them to review. So if you want to be in a position to do your own research, learn about the contract, draft those contracts as much as possible, then engage the final aspect, you can do that, right? So again, the Spellbook is a legal support to 10x your efforts. And then you've got the analytics. Now, again, a lot of these things can be free initially. So for example, Amplitude I use again, and let's go into Amplitude. You can plug in your the pixel for your website and start engaging really fast. Okay, what's my popular content for my site, and it will go, okay, which site has been most popular, and we'll analyze that and provide you with insights. So again, that would take we need to go into Google Analytics and extract that information. Let me see what's happening here. Let's just say this is not what. Let me just refresh this. Let me refresh. Okay, let me see again. Maybe let me go into and say, okay, what channel, what country? I guess. Okay, what country drives most of my traffic? Okay, let's see what's happening here. Again, this is free, so boom. Okay, straight now I know what. I don't have to go into Google Analytics and find that information. I can drill down to certain pages. What sessions are most what sessions are most popular, what percentage of euros are coming from. I don't know why this content piece didn't come up, to be honest with you, and usually it would, but it's up here. But this is free, and this is much free without being a long video. My point of this whole video is to show that there's a bunch of tools out there. Some of the tools you probably already have invested in, you can actually unpack with AI to 10x your efforts in. So you're essentially becoming a solo entrepreneur, from developing strategy, from developing your product, when I say product, literally developing your application, your marketing efforts, and your sales and marketing, and then reporting to gain insights. Okay, well, that's enough for me for today. Remember to subscribe and follow, and please provide feedback. I'll try to find some interesting content for you guys. Okay.